Hi everyone, welcome to the Mighty Trades channel. My name is Johar and welcome to another episode of Weekend Technical Analysis. Today I thought let's start off by analyzing some major indices to see how our market is doing and how our market is placed. So right now in front of you is the Nifty 50 index, and as you can clearly see, the index has broken a pretty important support zone over here, which is this one, and it's given a closing below that last week. So this is not a very great sign. And what also you can clearly see on this chart is the creation of a um, head and shoulder pattern, which is not again a great sign here. So this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder over here, and this is the head that you can see here. So this is a bearish pattern, this is not a bullish pattern. And as per this pattern, if we were to take the height of the head and if you were to take it down all the way here, then there is a very high chance that Nifty could correct all the way up till this zone. Let me just draw a rectangle over here. So this is the probable zone where Nifty will come and take support, which is the previous consolidation zone back in back in the month of June, July, and August. So this zone should now act as a support for Nifty, and there is a possibility that Nifty could correct all the way up to here. Now, the only way that we can confirm whether this pattern has been invalidated is if Nifty gives a breakout above this line. So it needs to give a closing above 17,200 on a weekly basis, and then we can get confirmation, 90% confirmation that the downtrend has been taken care of. So from here it will either go up or it will consolidate sideways, but we will have a good reassurance that market isn't going to go down further. From the current price, if it were to hit the target of the head and shoulder pattern, we are looking at a fall of close to 7 to 8%. So that's the situation with Nifty right now. If we take a quick look at the India VIX, which is sort of the volatility index, which shows the fear in the market, that has cooled down a little bit last week on the last day. So the VIX came down by about 16%. However, it hasn't made a very large bearish candle over here. Ideally, if this candle would have closed at least up till here, this would have become a bearish engulfing candle, and we would have been more assured that that VIX will start going down. But it hasn't closed all the way till the opening of this green candle here. So there are chances that over the weekend some bad news might come up, and on Monday markets uh, might react negatively again. So we still have to be cautious. We are still not out of the woods, but we have to keep studying and analyzing charts every weekend, and we have to keep maintaining our list, and keep identifying good trading opportunities that we can take care of. So now that we have analyzed the major indexes, let's move on to our chart analysis. And in the last week we concluded our chart analysis with NMDC. So let's not waste any more time and move on directly to Jindal Steel and Power. So I'm switching over to the weekly chart. Okay, so something really interesting happening on this chart. Let me switch over to even a longer duration here. Okay, so this chart is definitely strong, right? Compared to Nifty, this chart is definitely stronger because it has only corrected by 3% compared to what the market has corrected over the last couple of weeks, right? So this chart definitely has some strength. There is a very, very strong support in this area right here. This is a good support zone for the stock. and it has been testing it multiple times. And one thing, if you check here, you see the supports, they are coming higher and higher. If you see the wicks, the wick of every candle, that wick low is higher. So this low was at 340, then this low was at 357, this low at 362, and then this low again was higher in this week. So that's a good sign. So the stock is moving in a nice channel. Let's switch over to the daily chart and see how it looks on a shorter term time frame. So this has been the price movement this way since it's been creating this channel. Let's try and connect as many candles as possible. So this is the channel that has been moving in since December. So that's close to 3 months of price movement that it's been making in this channel. The chart does look pretty strong. So we should have to definitely consider this. Now let's try and look at the monthly chart again here and try and understand what pattern is it forming. So this is a large accumulation zone that this chart has developed, right? And this accumulation has been happening since September 2019. So this is even before the COVID crash that came in. So there's some really good accumulation that has happened on these levels at the really bottom. So let's quickly go and take a look at the fundamentals before we analyze the chart further. Because if the fundamentals are not great, then there is no point in looking at the chart. It's Jindal Steel and Power. Okay. So definitely undervalued than its industry peers. Book value is great and it's not trading above its book value. That's also a good thing. As per screener, the intrinsic value is 963. It's also great. Let's look at the pros. The company has reduced debt. It's expected to give a good quarter. Profit growth has been good. Debtor days have also improved. Company has low return on equity and promoters have pledged 40% of the holding. Alright, let's look at the financials now. Oh wow. Just look at this. In the last 2 quarters, it's been posting its highest ever net profits. Last quarter, the margin went down a little bit. It's been going down since 2 quarters, the margins. But it's coming back close to its baseline margins here. So it's not gone down below the pre-pandemic operating margins. Okay, net profits are also good. It's been making consistent net profit compared to previous quarters. And if you look at the profit and loss statement on a yearly basis, the trailing 12 months profit is the highest ever currently. That's also a very good sign. If you look at the balance sheet, the borrowings have gone down significantly. So this is a superb sign over here. The reserves of the company are going up and the borrowings are going down. That is very nice. Okay. Let's go and have a quick look at the shareholding pattern now. Okay. So the FI holding for the last 4 quarters has been pretty much stable. There's been some sell-off in the last quarter, but I think FIs have been selling since the last 1 year almost. So it's clearly we can see that sell-off happening here. The DIIs are increasing their position. They have increased their position in the last quarter. As you can see, ICICI has bought some stake here. Kotak has bought a small stake here. Nippon Life Endurance has sold a little bit. DSP has bought a nice stake of 1% over here. So this is a good sign. The public shareholding is not going up over the last 4 quarters. So that's also a very good sign. Okay. If you look at this high that was created here back in 2009 and 2010, the profits of the company at that time, we only have data 2010 here, were at 3573 crores. And right now the company is posting double the profits as per the TTM profit that we have of 6,400 crores. So definitely the profits have gone up, but the share price has not caught up to that. And this chart is definitely looking very strong because compared to Nifty, it's not fallen as much, right? So right now what I'm looking at the weekly chart, what I see is sort of a flag and pole pattern that's developing here. Let's switch over to the monthly chart. So if you look at the monthly chart, this is the pole, this is the flag it's forming this way. Okay, now if we are to take the length of this pole, put it up here, then this is the potential target that we are looking at. So we have to wait for the pole to break out first. So let's assume that this is the breakout range here. Let me use this long position right here. There we go. So if we assume it gives a breakout above 445, then our profit comes to about close to 62%, and our stop loss, we switch over to the weekly chart to decide our stop loss. Okay, so this is the support channel that it's been making, right? So if it gives a breakout above here, the logical stop loss would be close to here. Yeah, if it goes below this channel, that's when we have to be worried. We are not going to wait for it to test this support. We will get out if it closes above this, below this channel. So a 10% risk for a reward of close to 62%. I think those are very good odds. The company is fundamentally strong. DIIs are quickly buying up the positions of whatever the FIs are selling, so they are also supporting the stock. And it's clearly consolidating here since quite a while, right? It's been consolidating since 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 months. And if you look at the last 3 months, it's been consistently outperforming the market. The market has not given any returns in the last 3 months, but this stock has actually given you some return if you would have entered at this support zone here. So clearly there's something happening in the stock. And just to further validate this, let's have a look at the Nifty Metal Index as well, because that will also give us an idea of what's happening here. So this is clearly following Nifty Metal Index, because the Nifty Metal Index has also been consolidating since the last 7 months, right? And if the index had to fall, it would have fallen already. But clearly something different is happening this time, because if we look at this index's history, you can clearly see it gives a sharp run up and then immediately it falls down. Again here it gave a sharp run up, consolidated just for a month and then started falling down. But this time nothing of that sort has happened. This time the index is holding up, so clearly there is a large amount of accumulation that's happening in the stock, in all metal stocks in fact. And something big is going to happen. Sorry, we have to go to Jindal Steel and Power. So this looks like a beautiful opportunity to me. So I'm going to add this to my tracker. Okay, so Jindal Steel. All right. Also guys, one thing that I've started doing is I have started sharing the chart link over here. So basically all I have to do is just take this, I'm going to replace this with AARTIIND. And now basically the exact same chart that I am seeing, you can also see here in a view only mode. So you will be able to see all my drawings, all my analysis that I have done on the chart, just as I was seeing it. So you can also use this for your own, study purposes later on. So today's date is 26th February. The price as per today is 399.75. This is a flag and pole pattern right here. Target entry price that we have decided would be 446. Our target is coming to about 726. Let me see how far away is that from the all-time high. So it's close to the all-time high itself. So 726 is the target. Potential gain is 62% from the target entry price, close to 63%. And our stop loss is going to be 397. So the risk that we are taking is close to 11%. The status is waiting for entry, and this is the current market price. All right, great. Just a quick disclaimer, guys, please don't consider any of the information that we are discussing here as an investment advice. This is just for educational purposes. We are just maintaining this document to sort of validate our theory. 6 months down the line, if some of these stocks go on to hit their targets, we will get to know how much our strategy is successful, how much loss we are making. So, we'll be able to analyze all of this later on, and which is why I'm keeping it very transparent and sharing everything with you, so that we can, self-analyze how our strategies are doing. Right now, the market has a little bit of a negative sentiment. There are chances that stop losses could be hit, but we have to still continue with our analysis and, keep making the right decision for our money, because we need to grow it fast, and so that we can achieve our target of, financial independence as soon as possible. So moving on to our next chart, quickly go here. All right, which is Indian Overseas Bank. Okay, let's look at the 5-year chart, and the chart has become weak. This was a major support zone that it has broken, and it's become weak right now. Sorry, I don't know what this is. Let me just okay, the chart is clearly weak right now. This was the major support zone that it has broken here. So currently nothing to discuss on this stock. There's some good volume there was some good accumulation that happened here, and but it's fallen below the support zone, so I don't see any reason why we have to buy this. Okay, let's go to Varun Beverages. So switch over to the weekly chart again. Wow, this is super. And just look at this. There is no correction whatsoever. It's been absolutely still since the last 3 weeks. I mean, just look at how the markets have reacted to the Ukraine-Russia news, and just look at how this is going. Let's try and draw a support trend line from these wicks. Yep. So clearly this is acting like a strong support, this trend line right here. This is a well-established trend line which started in October 2020. And clearly this zone is a nice support zone. This is a really good chart. However, unfortunately, I'm not too sure how we can get a target here. This would be more of a momentum play. There are chances that this stock could go much more higher. Let me look at the monthly chart. It's also trading at its lifetime high right now. So I'm not sure if we should be taking that sort of a risk. But one thing that I can see is probably something of a ascending triangle that could be created here, and if that is the case, then the target would be the bottom over here, which is this support zone from where this triangle has started. And if you just take this to the top, then yeah, we can possibly get a 14-15% gain. I'm not too sure whether this analysis is right or no. Let's go and look at the ideas section to see if there is something better out there. Okay, so there is some individual by the name of Techno Funda Trader who has put this idea on February 21st. He has also identified some sort of a triangle pattern, and he has given a target of 1080 rupees. He's mentioned a lot of this text over here as well for his analysis. Please feel free to pause and read this at your own leisure. So that's one trade idea that's here. So one else has also analyzed a similar ascending triangle sort of thing that I have created. They have not given any targets though. So I wouldn't say this is a mighty trade opportunity because we don't know how far ahead this will go. This will be more of a momentum play. You just buy and hold and you hope it goes up. And it definitely will go up. But this trade you would have to take for a short term possibility because there is no visibility into how far ahead the stock can go. Let's also take a quick look at the fundamentals here to understand if there is any target we can come up with fundamentally. If you look at the sales are pretty much stable. The profit in the last quarter has gone down terribly. I don't understand why. The profit margin has really taken a beating. It's gone even below pre-COVID levels. So that's not great. Let's take a quick look at the shareholding pattern. FIIs are holding on to their holding here. There hasn't been so much selling compared to the other stocks that FIIs have been selling. The DIIs are also increasing their positions. That's good. Public holding has remained stable or come on the downside a little bit over the last 2 quarters. The promoters are selling some stake. They sold some stake here and they sold some stake here, but they didn't sell any stake on the last quarter. So clearly the chart is very strong, but since I can't come up with any upper target over here, I'm going to avoid this stock because I don't want to take too much risk by entering a stock at all-time high. But for any momentum trader, I think this is a great opportunity. But again, be very careful because markets are very volatile right now. There can be very large upswings and downswings. So just keep that in mind. Okay, moving on to Adani Ports. Alright, this was a high that was made in Adani Ports right here. This looks like a rounding bottom pattern that it's made. And this is a huge consolidation that the stock has gone through, right? This high was made in 2010 and it attempted to break out from here in the month of June, but then it has corrected quite steeply again. I think this might be because of that Suchita Dalal thing that happened in the past, and now it's coming back up again very strongly. So clearly there is some upward momentum happening here. Let's switch over to the monthly chart to get a more clearer picture of how we can understand the stock. Hmm. Okay. Something is definitely happening in the stock because the volumes are also rising periodically. Large positions are being built over here. Let's quickly take a look at the financials to understand how the future could be of the stock. Adani Ports. Okay. Oh, sorry. We're looking at Adani Power. Okay. All right. Company has delivered good profit growth. Company's median sales growth was also great as per this. Trading above book value, low interest coverage ratio, poor sales growth over past 5 years. Promoters have pledged their holding. Company has high debtor days. Okay, so current price is 124. Trading at a P of 171. Intrinsic is 14.9. Let's look at the sales. Sales have pretty much remained the same over the last few quarters. Margins have improved. They are still paying a lot of interest. Not consistently profitable. If you look at the profit and loss statement here, the sales have been stagnated since 2016, so no real growth in sales. They have only become profitable over the last 2 years, I would say, or the last 1 year, in fact. And if you look at the borrowings, those borrowings have also pretty much remained in the 52,000 crore range since more than 5 years. So I'm not looking, the fundamentals are not looking great. However, shareholding pattern is good. FIIs are definitely building large positions here over the last 3 quarters, and the DIIs have been stable over the last 3 quarters. The public shareholding is very limited. but technically this chart is looking really strong. And as you know, all the Adani group stocks, all the other Adani group stocks like Adani Enterprises, Ports, Adani Green Energy, all of them have run up and are at multi-year highs. I think now whoever the operator is of the Adani group has set his eyes on the Adani Power stock now. Mhm. Let's see if we can understand what's happening in the chart. We switch over to the daily chart first. Right. Mhm. The superb accumulation that's happening over here on this zone. The price has also been making higher bottoms, as you can clearly see. The bottoms are becoming higher. Now, if this stock is going to break out of this zone, the run up is going to be very high because this is a 10-year consolidation that the stock is breaking out of. So, whoever is an investor who has bought this stock at this zone, or whoever the operator is who might have been doing accumulation since the last 3-4 years, because this volume has been building up since 2018, is not gonna let go of the stock very soon. According to me, this would be the target. The fundamentals are not great, but it's a profitable company, and technically the company is very strong, so it's very hard to ignore the stock. But this is going to be a risky trade because if you look at the 1 day chart, it's an upper circuit, lower circuit stock, right? You see it makes constant upper circuits and then there are lower circuits. So it is a very volatile stock. So if someone there is there who can stomach this kind of volatility, then they should enter this trade. Otherwise, they should not. I personally am going to avoid taking this trade because I avoid upper circuit, lower circuit stocks. I like stocks with good liquidity where I can get in quickly and get out also quickly. But definitely this looks like a very strong chart, so I'm going to put it in my tracker over here just to understand how the stock performs. However, I'm making it very clear I'm not going to be entering this trade. The target entry price in this case will be needs to break out of this high right here, which is 135. The target, as per our understanding, is this price, which is 262. So that's a 94% gain from our target entry price. The stop loss we'll have to keep a wide stop loss because it is a upper circuit, lower circuit stock. So we'll have to keep this zone as our stop loss. So that's 95, 96. So we're going to give 95 as the stop loss. The potential loss is 30%. Status is waiting for entry. Sorry about that. This is the current market price. Okay. So that's the analysis on Adani Power. Very strong chart setup, not following the market. It's definitely outperforming the market. So that is the reason why we have to look at it, because someone is holding up the stock, and if that someone decides to take it up, then we should join that party. All right, let's move on to Trent. Trent is also clearly an outperforming stock. It has not, it made this really large bearish candle on the weekly chart over here in the month of January. But since then, it's been consolidating in this range for the last 4 weeks. So that is a good thing. This is definitely a very strong support zone. We draw a zone instead over here. So from this price to this price, this range from 998 till 970 is definitely a very strong support for the stock. It's consistently outperforming. And this seems to be, and this is the resistance zone here. So until unless there is a breakout from this zone, I don't see any reason to enter the stock, because it's been consolidating here since the month of October in this price point. So it needs to give a breakout from here, and once that breakout happens, then we will discuss further as to what we can do. Persistent systems. All right, so this chart has also broken down from this support line here. So currently the stock is looking weak. It needs to give a closing above this line of 4364. Only then we can understand what can be possibly done in the stock. But a consistent outperformer, but currently the chart structure is looking weak right now. So nothing further to discuss here. Let's look at this Container Corporation of India. Okay. This is also in a downtrend. Good thing is it's now at a very close support zone. So if someone is already has it in their portfolio, then please do continue holding it. Don't exit your position in panic right now. This entire zone should act as a support. If it gives a closing below this, then it's better to exit, because there is nothing to stop the stock then from falling to these 400 levels. And if you would like to get out, then please wait for a bounce, because there will be a bounce that might happen here, and then you can try and get out somewhere near this resistance zone over here. But currently the stock is um, in a downtrend right now, so we need to be very careful, and there is no point in taking any entry over here. Honeywell Automation, let's switch over to the monthly chart here, has been consolidating in this range since March of last year, and it's been in this channel. It's making lower highs, and it's making its lows are sort of staying pretty much the same, but the highs are becoming lower. So this is the support zone right now for the stock. Until unless it gives a breakout on the higher side, there is no reason why we have to enter into the stock right now. Moving over to Polycab. So we are looking at the weekly chart. This chart is also consolidating since September last year. But the channel is in sort of in a positive territory, I would say, because I can see the lows are becoming higher and higher here. Last week this also corrected like the rest of the market, but it did not close below this support zone. So clearly this is a nice support zone that it has built for itself, this price point. Let me broaden this here. Okay, so it didn't even test this support zone where it made a sort of a double bottom last time. So something interesting could happen in the stock. Let me switch over to the daily chart. Okay. So I can't see any chart pattern per se, but definitely it's been trading inside a channel. And let's have a quick look here. So if right now it's at the bottom of the channel, and if you have to buy it till here, till the top of the channel, you could potentially make a 20 to 25% gain. And in this case, our stop loss would definitely be extremely tight. So I would not wait. I would not want to risk anything more than 3% in this stock. In fact, from the current price, this is at 3.5%. So this is one potential trade, but you know what? The market is really choppy right now. I don't want to take trades unnecessarily, but yeah, but this is the how the chart is looking right now. There is no clear chart pattern, but clearly there is a channel in which it's operating. So if anyone wants to take any short-term trade, they could consider this. But the market's really choppy, so it's better not to take unnecessary risk. Although the risk over here will be very small, just 2 or 3%, nothing more than that. Let's quickly look at the trade ideas section also to understand if some other trader better than me has understood what's happening here. Okay, so someone else has also done a similar analysis like how I have. Um, the support zone, the downtrend. Yeah, no target here. Okay, yeah, so clearly no one's been able to figure out a target for the stock. This person here has also come up with a target of just 11%, so clearly not worth it. He has also built a channel over here. He's built a channel on a much more shorter time frame than I have. I've built a channel from all the way here. He's built a channel to here. Um, so again, as I said, the target is too small, not worth the risk right now with the market being so choppy. But a good, I think, SIP stock because it's been consolidating in this channel. So if anyone wants to buy this for an investment purpose, then this looks like a decent price to buy. Let's move on to Tata Lxe. Okay, Tata Lxe has also corrected with the stock, with the market. Sorry, um, this zone over here, this price zone where it made a base back in November last year, should act as a very good support. And I think Tata Lxe is a brilliant company because I had taken a trade in the past somewhere around here, I believe, and I continued holding the stock all the way up till here. I remember I booked about like close to 100% profit already in the stock. I have since gotten out. I have been waiting to get back in, and I was very tempted to enter the stock over here when it had given a breakout above the zone. But but I did not enter it because the market was pretty choppy at that point, and I didn't want to enter momentum trades at that point. I wanted to focus more on charts which have a nice chart pattern where you can calculate targets very closely. But currently, the stock is near its support zone. We have to wait for it to give a closing above this previous swing high. Especially if you look at the weekly chart here, there seems to be a pretty huge gap. There seems to be a gap here, right? So it needs to give, I think, a closing above this gap to give real confirmation that this downtrend or consolidation is over. And if you look at the daily chart, then it needs to give a closing above this high right here on a shorter time frame to give us reassurance that that in a shorter time frame the chart is in an uptrend, and if it gives a closing above this line, then we know that on a longer time frame the chart is in an uptrend. So you can hold it for like 3 months or 6 months depending on your investment and your risk profile. All right, so that's the verdict on Tata ELXI. Let's move on to Aarti Industries. uh, Let me switch over to line chart over here instead of the candle chart. Okay, so on the line chart, we can clearly see that a double top pattern sort of formation has happened. Also, another thing that I can see is a sort of a head and shoulder pattern over here. Let me switch over to the candlestick chart over here and let's go to the daily chart. So yeah, there seems to be a head and shoulder pattern that has also formed in this stock. So this is the left shoulder, this is the right shoulder. Actually here, this is the left shoulder, and this is the head, and this is the right shoulder, and that breakdown has happened. However, one good thing is it did make a very large bullish engulfing candle here, but it could not break above this line. So until and unless this stock gives a breakout above this 997 zone, we cannot enter the stock. We should not even look at this chart right now. And as per the head and shoulder patterns target, if we look at the Okay, if you look at the depth of the head, so if this downtrend were to continue, you can clearly see that the stock could correct all the way up till 783. So on both the sides, to get confirmation, we need it to close above this line to know that this head and shoulder pattern is invalidated. And if it goes below this bullish engulfing candle here and it breaks the 880 level, then we know the head and shoulder pattern is activated and the stock will correct all the way to here. So that's the case with Aarti Industries. Moving on to Canara Bank. Okay, Canara Bank is doing supremely well here. Let's take a look here. Okay, so clearly this is a nice support trend line that it's been respecting. The stock is in a clear uptrend. It's making higher lows and it's making higher highs. That's very good. Let's look at here. Okay, let's look at the daily chart. Okay. All right, let me switch over to the weekly chart again. All right. Seems to me like there is a cup with handle that has been created. Let's look here. Okay. So this is the start of the cup. All right. This is the handle that formed. Right. And a breakout of the handle happened, and now it's currently again retesting the handle. And this is your neckline. So it's retesting the neckline right now. I think this is a very strong stock. Lots of accumulation has happened here. It has corrected along with the market. So, but it's not broken any of its supports. Like a lot of the stocks in this correction have broken their supports. That has not been the case with Canara Bank. Now, if we are to calculate a target, so we'll take the depth of the cup here all the way to the neckline, and we are going to put it up above the neckline like so. Let's bring it down a little bit. Okay, so there is a potential gain of more than 65% here, right? So this is our target, and if we calculate the long position from the current price, which is at 218, so we're seeing a gain of 2.75%, sorry, 67.45%. Don't know why I said 2.75. Let me switch over to the daily time frame the weekly time frame and decide a stop loss. So the stop loss in this case will be for me somewhere below this trend line right here. So this was a previous low. It did not break this low over here on a smaller time frame. Okay, and if it gives a closing below this trend line, then that would be a concern for me. So I am going to keep a little bit of a wider stop loss because the volatility is extremely high in the market. So there are large moves that could potentially, that could potentially force you to cut your position in a loss, and then the next day the stock might just rebound. So let's keep a tight stop loss on a weekly closing basis. Let's keep a wider stop loss on a weekly closing basis. So for the potential gain that we are looking at, which is 67%, 11 to 12% seems like a good amount of loss. Seems like a good risk to reward ratio. Sorry. So I will be happy to keep my stop loss somewhere near this low that it made in the month of December. So I'm gonna add this to my tracker. I think this is a very good entry price as well. You're getting it right at the neckline. So if you were to, so you're getting it right at the neckline. So if you were to purchase it anytime next week close to the zone, then this looks like a good risk to reward ratio. Okay, so let's add this to our tracker. I think this is super fine. CANBK. The date today is 26th February. The price is 218.45. So cup with handle pattern. The target entry price, we are going to keep it at the same price as today, 218.45. The target is 365. The potential gain is 67%. That's great. The stop loss is going to be 188. The potential loss is 14%. This trade is active. Current market price. Again, sorry about that. The current market price is here. I am going to keep the buy date as Mondays. Just one thing, guys, this buy date is just a placeholder, right? I don't have all the money in the world to enter every stock. So whichever stock I do enter, I will add the screenshot link in this sheet itself. But this is all these dates are just placeholders, for us to keep a track of our trades performance, etc. So don't think that I'm going and buying each and every stock. Some of these are just going to be trades on paper, and some of these are trades that I will enter eventually whenever I get some cash or I'm exiting some other position in my market. So I'll try and enter some of these trades, but these buy dates are just placeholders. The actual buy dates might be different. All right. Okay, so that's it. That's added to our tracker now. Oh, sorry, I did not put these chart links here, so let me put this chart link very quickly. So here is CANBK. Control C. So when you will open the sheet and if you click on this link, this will directly take you to the chart that I am seeing with all the drawings, etc. that I've put in. So I'm trying to be as transparent as possible and trying to share as much information as possible so that everyone has clarity on what we have discussed, what we saw on the chart, what are the clear target entry prices, and this will help us keep a good track of our strategy, and it will also help you to build your own strategy, because there might be things that you notice differently which I haven't, but you will be able to sort of mix and match different trading styles and come up with your own strategy. That's what I have done over the last 2 years. Okay, so that's the verdict on Canara Bank. Really good stock. Sometimes I get so carried away in the technicals that I forget to check the fundamentals. So let's have a quick look at the fundamentals as well. So market cap's 40,000 crores. That's undervalued compared to its industry peers. Book value is 344, and interestingly, our target is also somewhere close to the book value. So that's a happy coincidence. Intrinsic value is also much higher as per screener. Let's look at the results. The results are supremely fantastic. I mean, just look at it. I think the COVID period has been the best period for this bank. Since June 2020, it's just been posting fantastic results consistently. That is really good. The net profit is also the highest ever that it's posting. Superb. The NPAs are going down. That's also great. If you look at the profit and loss statement, wow, this is the highest ever net profit of the trailing 12 months. That's superb. And if we look at the shareholding pattern, I believe this is a PSU stock. That's okay. So it's 69%, but there is clearly a technical pattern forming there. So someone's accumulating the stock. So the promoter holding has gone down the last 2 quarters. It's fine. FIIs have increased their position. That's a good positive. Here, a small cap fund and DNB Paribas Arbitrage Fund has bought some stake. DIIs are stable. And let's look at the public shareholding pattern. And okay, wow, interesting. So Mr. Rakesh Junjanwala is also in the stock. That's also a good positive sign. So clearly, technically, this chart is strong. and fundamentally also things are improving in the stock, so this is a definite buy for me. All right, let's look at the next chart, which is Ashok Leyland. And Ashok Leyland also seems to be forming a head and shoulder pattern, so a lot of the charts are giving bearish signals. So clearly there is a lot of negativity happening in the market, a lot of sell-off is coming. So this is the head right here, this is the shoulder, the left shoulder, and this is the right shoulder, and the breakdown has happened below the neckline. This was the neckline, and sorry, the breakdown has not happened. It's still yet to break down. It's still above the neckline, but there's a very high chance that it does break down. So at this stage, it's advisable not to enter the stock. The only way to confirm that the breakdown has failed or this head and shoulder pattern has failed, if it gives a closing above this line of 140 rupees. Until then, please stay away from the stock. So that's the verdict on Ashok Leyland. Let's have a quick look at COFORGE. COFORGE is again, like all the other IT stocks, is in a downtrend. But just look at this run up here. Wow. If someone would have bought this at this breakout, they would have been so happy with the profits they would have made. Really, I mean, I missed out on this chart. Anyways, let's look at the daily time frame and let's look at the moving averages. So it's gone below the moving averages. So not a good thing. So yeah, there is no momentum in the stock right now. No point to discuss it further. Let's look at Minda Industries and see what's happening. So Minda Industries is at its all-time high. It broke out from this level here, ran up very quickly, and now it's been correcting with the rest of the market. Now let's switch over to a daily time frame. It seems to be taking a support here to this previous resistance zone where it consolidated for a while, but right now it's in a clear downtrend. So let it give a closing about its previous high. Right now it's making, lower highs and lower lows. So as per Dow theory, it's going down. So until unless it breaks out of one of its previous swing highs, there's no real point discussing the stock. Moving on to Dalmia Bharat, the stock is also going down. It's making lower highs as you can see here, and it's making lower lows. So nothing to discuss further. Yes Bank, clear a void. OFSS has corrected. It's corrected massively, but it looks like it's made a double bottom here. Let me get RSI into the picture quickly. So yeah, there is an RSI divergence as well. So if you notice, what has happened in the stock is, this is the price level right here, right? It's given a exact closing at the same price level. So this candle was created on 24th of Jan 2022, 3414, and then this is a candle again after 4 weeks on 21st February at the same price. It's made a bottom, so that's good. And if you look at the RSI is indicating on the upper side of things. So in the short term, this chart can give you a return. How much return? I would estimate, since this divergence we are seeing on a weekly time frame, you could possibly get like a return. You could possibly see a bounce up till here. So you could make like a 10-12% gain in a very short time frame, in like less than 2 weeks. This trade would be. And your stop loss in this case will be, let's have a look at the daily chart. Yeah, the divergence is even more clearly visible on the daily chart. If you see here, this was the low, and this low was actually lower than this low, right? But still look at the RSI. The RSI is still higher compared to here. So let's put this here. So clear divergence on the RSI piece that we can see here. So yeah, as per me, you could see a bounce up till here, this 12% zone. The stop loss will be extremely tight. The stop loss will be this. So if we look at the risk to reward ratio here, from the current price till here, so the risk is, so the reward is 12% and your risk is 3%. I'm going to keep it a little more tighter, and let me look at the 30-minute chart to understand how things are moving in a smaller time frame. Yeah, I can't understand anything on a 30-minute chart. But yeah, as per RSI divergence, there's a good divergence here. You could see a potential bounce up to this levels. So that's a trade we can consider. Let me add this to my tracker. Again, I'm not going to take this trade, but I do want to keep a track of this RSI divergence strategy that we have identified here. RSI divergence. So the target entry price, we are going to keep it the same as it is today. The target that we have calculated is 420. Sorry, it's 4,000. What is it? 3845. 3845 is our target. 3845. So the gain is close to 13%. Our stop loss is going to be a nice and tight. What is this? 3310? Is that what it is? Sorry, 3326. So our stop loss is going to be 3326. Okay, so that's a loss of just 2.5%. I'm going to keep this active. This is the buy date. Okay, sorry about that. This is the current market price. So RSI divergence is what we spotted on this chart, and as per that, there should be a short-term bounce which we should be able to take advantage of. Let me also put the chart link here so that everyone can clearly see what I am seeing. All right. So we are close to the end of the month of February. So next month, what we'll do is in the starting of the month, there are all these positions that we have identified in the month of Feb and in the last week of Jan. We'll do a quick review video about this, and we'll see, where the charts have moved, if any of them have hit our stop losses, if any of have hit their targets. I don't think anything has hit their target because the market has been in a very negative state right now. But let's do a quick review anyways, just to see how the charts are moving, and we'll take the things forward from there then. So we are almost out of time. Let me just have a quick look at Deepak Nitrite. Okay, so Deepak Nitrite has been a stock that really outperformed the market in the past. Right now it's in a little bit of a downtrend, but it has run up also so quickly. However, I do feel this should act as a very strong support zone for this stock now. This entire zone should act as a nice support. So until unless it gives a breakout above this high, there's nothing to discuss. It could just keep consolidating here or keep going down further. So no fresh positions can be made in Deepak Nitrite as of now. Moving on to Tube Investments. Okay, Tube Investments has also been consolidating in this sort of a box right here. So currently it needs to give a breakout above this box. It seems to be more of a momentum play because it is at its all-time high right now. As you can see, every time it gives a breakout, it runs up. Then again, it consolidates, gives a breakout, runs up. Again, now it's consolidating. It has to give breakout and give a run up. So you could ideally, what you could do is, since this is a momentum play right now, and momentum is not the flavor because markets are correcting quite a bit. Right now, we have to avoid the stock. We can only enter the stock One, when Nifty goes above 17,200, that's when we know that the downtrend has paused for a while, and markets might go up, might give a short run up due to short covering. Then you can consider these kind of momentum stocks. As of now, please stay away from them. Only enter them if you are going from a fundamental perspective. Don't enter them from a trading perspective. All right. Looking at the next chart, which is Max Financial Services, and a downtrend right now, should take support somewhere around this zone. A lot of the stocks are now available at their support zones right now. But again, it's in a downtrend. I don't see any chart pattern as well. So better to stay away from the stock. Let's have a look at the last stock for our day, which is Indepresta Cash, and then we will close our uh, session for today. So this stock has also been in a downtrend, very bad downtrend, properly beaten down. Let me look at the fundamentals a little bit, because sometimes stocks that are really beaten down but have very good fundamentals can be very good contrarian buys, because at this price that it's available right now, this seems to be a nice support zone. Plus, this seems to be a very old price, right? This high was made back in Jan 2018. If the company has become much larger, much better at its business than Jan 2018, then definitely the share price will catch up with the fundamentals as well. So let's look at the fundamentals here. So if you look at the ROC is 24%, that's good. Uh, Intrinsic value, current price almost the same. Book value is trading above the book value. Debt to equity is just 1%, which is also very good. All right, let's look at the results. Now, if you look at the quarterly sales, highest ever quarterly sales. Margins came down a little bit back to this pre-COVID level margins, so close to the pre-COVID level margins. If you look at the net profit, it's close to the highest ever net profits. If you look at the sales are highest ever the last trailing 12 months. The profit is also highest ever the last trailing 12 months. And this price, this high, was made in Jan 2018, okay, of 331 rupees. Now in Jan 2018, what was the share price? What was the net profit? It was 722. What is the profit of the last trailing 12 months? It's 1400. So the profits, the net profits of the company have doubled, but the share price actually stayed pretty much the same. The share price also tried to double itself. It did double, in fact. It went from this high of 331 to 609, but then it's been correcting very sharply. So this can potentially be a good contrarian buy, but I believe that price is God, and price sends you important signals. So there probably is some news based driven sell off that is coming here. And if you look at the shareholding pattern, FIIs have been selling their holding here. The DIIs have sort of maintained their holding. The public shareholding is going up. There doesn't seem to be any big public shareholder apart from HDFC Life Insurance. So the price is definitely saying that fundamentally there could be something wrong in the stock, or some news based driven sell off is coming here, because it's corrected much more than what the market has corrected. So if you were to take any contrarian buy in this chart, you would need for it to give some sort of a strong bullish reversal, which currently we are not seeing. It's just in a clear downtrend. So if we draw a trend line here, like so, it needs to give a nice strong closing above this trend line for us to give us a reassurance that okay, something's changed. Either some big player has entered, some good news has come out, something that has changed in the company's future, which has caused the share price to reverse, and then after that we can take our call. But as of now, we have to avoid the stock. From whatever fundamentals we can see, the fundamentals are looking good, but something could be going wrong that we don't know about, that insiders know about. So that's the take on Indepresta Cash. So do keep it on your watch list as a contrarian buy. If things improve, then this chart will run up very fast. As you can see here, look at this COVID 2020 fall, and just look at how quickly it ran up, like 40-50%. Same thing happened here. So do keep it on your watch list. So thank you for being part of another session of the weekend technical analysis series. The link to this chart, this sheet has been put in the description box below. Please do open the sheet, analyze the stocks, do your own study. Also, every single chart has its, every single stock name has its own chart layout also provided here. So if you click on this chart layout, you will be able to see exactly the drawings that I have put in, and you'll be able to analyze the charts yourself in view only mode. So do make use of that. And thank you again for being part of this episode. And yeah, that's it. Thank you. Goodbye.